Alrighty, guys, we are back. Another live stream, and today I'm here to expose Jeff Miller live. And first off, I want to say, all right, and he's scrambling around because he's scared about what we're going to dive into. Because
it's because the dog is coming on.
I'm going to reveal. Okay, can we ask the dog questions or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's a little smelly Boston Terrier that just wants to be included.
Cool.
So that is, the first 5 seconds of an interview, you got to catch someone's attention.
Yeah, boom, dog. Okay,
Attention.
dog, now that we got you. No, but anyways, Jeff, super happy you're here. I've been trying to interview you for a while now. I know we've been in this space together for a long time, and we've had the pleasure of connecting in many different ways, but I appreciate you being here. And I'm excited to expose some of the things you've been working on for the last 2 to 4 months and ask selfish questions for myself that are also going to help other people. So appreciate you being here. And yeah, we're going to dive into it deep.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I gladly wrote you a check for coming in and talking about, what was it, launch ads or something like that? I was like, all right.
Yeah. It's like offers, ads.
Yeah, I was like, I dig it. Like, it was very clear that you studied your craft. You're good at what you do. And if I was where you were at your age, man, I'd be making a lot more fucking money. like a lot. Okay. Like a big fucking amount. Right. But your advantage has always been, I think, time and effort, and you're doing good on both. So I saw that. I was like, yeah, like I'll pay him back later after I finish breathing or after I got some breathing room. And now we do.
Yeah, appreciate that. That means a lot. That means a lot. And you're paving the way for me. I always tell people to say like, oh, you're so young, you're so shy. I'm like, hey, you're older than me. You failed before. I'm following in your footsteps. I can't take all the credit here. So
I'm not stepping in the same dog shit you were.
Yeah, I watched you, you guys are doing all the work. I'm just, following.
I love it. You're the guys doing the work.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh yeah, you're so young, you're so smart. It's like, no, I'm just doing what you did, doing the opposite of what you did. So I appreciate you, but we're not going to sit here and just hype each other up. Let's talk about this. Okay. So you're doing the whole agency model a lot differently compared to when I first jumped into this. All right.
Correct. Yeah.
The way, after watching a lot of your content, paying for your stuff, and just taking it in myself behind closed doors, I noticed your belief towards it is very polarizing compared to what other mentors, coaches, and existing agents would say. So talk to me about that, because you, for one, do a lower retainer model. You focus on the product and the results. So tell me, what are your beliefs towards the whole agency model and what you've been doing?
All right. So I grew up in the Dan Henry space. He'll always get credit for the first person that I wrote a check to. Like, I remember being in Starbucks going, I got nothing else to lose. So I wrote him the check. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago. At that time, the whole thing was curious student into a paid retainer, and then you coast and everything is cool. You just keep it maintaining. Right. And that works. It just becomes like exhausting after a while, because you're the one doing it and doing the work, and your ability to get clients is based upon your ability to go organic and nurture. And honestly, like, unless you're a farmer, you and I both don't have 12 months to rotate around each other. It's like, man, you want to buy my stuff or not? Like, come on, Amazon style, let's get this out of the house. Right. And so I probably spent too much time trying to figure out why I disliked that curious student organic style. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I couldn't go ahead and just buy a client. Like, I've always wanted to go to a client store. Like, I need a client today. Like, go to that. And everyone's like, go get a client. I'm like, where's the fucking client store? Like, where's the client store? I don't get it. And like, unlike the bookshelf, where you can go fucking get a book, I was like, where's like a row of clients? And I always had trouble with the idea of like, oh, you just have to get a client store. And I told people that, and I couldn't find a way to act on it for myself. And I did like Chamber of Commerce meetings and posting on your personal profile and like having a soap opera sequence, but it never felt like on demand that I wanted to. Like, I could go on Amazon and buy a washer and dryer today, or a walking treadmill, or anything like today, right? Where could I go buy a client? And after, I would say 2 or 3 weeks of like walking around my building, trying to say like, okay, there's got to be a fucking way to do this, I said, all right, I'm gonna start advertising online. And at that time, and this is probably like year 2 in my agency journey, the way you advertise, get clients, was you got a custom list, shove them to Facebook, hope they didn't bang you for a half second. And then the ad was like attention getting, like wild wavy hands. And then it said, are you sick and tired of blah, blah, blah? Try our new USP system with a cool name on it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
It's standard copyright 101. Like, everything you hate, nothing you enjoy, all the good stuff come on board, right?
Yeah.
And I ran those ads, and those ads were like, what if you could add $30,000 a month to your business in 90 days? How would that transform your business for the better? Something like that. And the problem is that it worked. Like I ran those
Yeah.
ads and they worked. The challenge is that you have to spend an hour and a half on somebody that's got no money and then sell them really hard and then risk reversal and warranty, knowing that in 30, 45, 60 days, they're going to fuck it up so bad that they blame you. That was the ecosystem. So I bounced back and forth between like, hey, they're going to follow me for like 8, 12, 10 months. And then I'll make an offer. And then they say, okay. And they're happy no matter what. Or I advertise directly and get an unhappy client knowing that they're going to 30, 45, 60 days. And it didn't matter how good your CSM was. It didn't matter how good your fulfillment system was. It was them. And it was the ad that they came on board with. So that kind of threw me for a tissel for maybe like a year or so. And then I said, okay, there's a better way to do it. So business winter again, right? Walk around the block 2 or 3 weeks going, okay. The whole thing is we're supposed to get a return on ad spend, get an ROI, right? Okay. I got to spend an hour and a half with these people, objection handling, 6 to 8 weeks. What if I didn't do that anymore? What if I didn't have an account manager? What if I didn't have to pay a salesperson? What if I didn't have to do any of that? What's my Amazon 2-day shipping? Like, what's the product? What's the least amount of stuff? And people forget that, like, if you have to charge a lot, you have to do a lot. And I'm like, I didn't want to do a lot. I just wanted to get a return on ad spend. Like, if I could shove $100 into Facebook and get a $3,000 contract, we're good. Like, I should be jumping up and down 30x ROAS, right? Okay, cool. Very e-commerce style line of thinking. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like, I'm just going to put my price in the ad. And then they yay or nay before they even talk to me. Like, they won't even opt in. I don't want to have 100 leads that I got to think about, knowing that only 10% of them have money. I want 100 leads that I got to think about, knowing all of them signed up and know that I charge for my services. So I ran the ad, and the ad was very Jeff style, which is devoid of any creativity or prettiness. Like, it's the grossest of, it's literally on Canva. And for people that are watching this and tuning into Josh Gavin and Jeff Live, this is the format. This is what you do. This is the charge, product and price, and that is it.
Yeah.
And when I ran that, like, I got 2 things reflected back at me. The first is I didn't have this, like, I don't know what I'm getting, but I'm excited and interested in marketing about marketing to marketers, right? Like, when people sign up for like a $45,000 a year program and they're so excited, they don't know what they signed up for. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I didn't have that on my sales calls anymore. And instead, I have people that are like, I know how much it costs. I know what you're doing. Let's see if we like each other.
Yeah.
And very quickly, my hour and a half sales calls turned to 15 minutes. And I'm closing people while I'm driving in my car, and he's driving his car, and we're just chatting about the weather. He's like, yeah, man, I know I'm in. I just want to talk to you before I track. All right, cool. Where you from? And that was it. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I felt like I cracked the code. Like, I removed all the extra stuff off a 997 or 1,500, $2,000 a month. And we only kept this thing. And we only ran one ad, one offer, one blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have to put all this emotion into like falling in love with my industry. I just fucking ran an ad. And then I was like, oh, that worked or it didn't. And then it felt very, not logical, but, keep or kill very, very quickly. And I didn't have cool creatives that I fell in love with. It's just text on an ad. And I found that the people that opted in, A, knew that it costs money, which is like a big deal. And B, already bought into the product, like what we do and how we do. And very quickly, that meant I didn't have a list of 100 people where half of them weren't responsive, the other half didn't have money, and half of that you got to sell them with a risk first one guarantee. Now it was 100 people that knew that I cost money and they like my stuff, and now we just got to figure out if we like each other. And that's where we are with the agency, and that's usually quite the opposite of like, what's your cost per lead, what's your cost per sale, what's your return on ad spend, what's your salesperson's closing rate, what's your show up rate, what's your offer rate. Oh my God, like, dude, I could not run my business like that. Stop asking me all these questions. Like, I get insulted when people ask about my cholesterol, much less my show up rates. Like, holy crap, why would I count that? So I think, like, when I started agency, it was friend people on Facebook or whatever your, wherever your church happens to be. And, curious student to retainer. And then it became paid ads that are very busy oppy that Facebook hates, that nobody's really sure what they're getting. And now it's just, this is my thing, this is my price, and a discussion. And this is the happy Jeff. This is the happiest I've ever been, with the exception of the past 30 days, which have been a fucking shit show because of Facebook banning me. But like, that has been like the happiest clients. Like, they opt in, it's me on the call. I don't have to pay a salesperson, appointment setter. I don't get 100 leads in a day and then look at Facebook and have them optimize for patients instead of dentists. And like when somebody signs up, like bycatch, you're like, man, it's for carpet cleaners, I'm not cleaning your carpet. And then the devil on your shoulder is like, oh, we should probably find a way to monetize. They're like, oh my God. So now it's only clients that are opting into my ads, and we're on the phone, no appointment setter needed, no salesperson needed. And it's 15 minutes. And because I can build the ads are done in like 30. And, the whole philosophy was like Amazon 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
And now that, like, I think we're approaching our post Facebook age with our agency, and now moving into AdWords and YouTube, I'm confident I can do 30-minute setup with AdWords. And now it's a win. So that's the quick summary. Yeah.
So there's a lot of people watching this, and, maybe they're thinking about starting an agency. They get excited hearing this. Maybe they were doing what you said you stopped doing, and they want to switch to this new model. But who loses in this race? Like, what type of doesn't win?
Great question. Oh, I love it.
There is a certain percentage of people who aren't going to succeed doing this.
Correct. So when you think of the ecosystem of suppliers and vendors and providers, in the big old sign up list, like just get everybody on a list, non-generic or generic ad, BizOpy, and then they get filtered by an appointment setter and then sold by a salesperson. The appointment center salespeople are no longer needed and they lose out. Okay. So like, I don't have to spend $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month on a really, really good appointment setter and have the fucking daily stand-ups where you're like, hey, how many appointments did you set?
Yeah, I hate that.
Like it ends up being like the worst conversation ever, because you're like, man, I'm just an appointment setter. I don't know why it's not working. And they're like, well, you figure out. You're like, okay, fuck me. What am I supposed to do, right? Then the salesperson loses out because you don't need a salesperson anymore, because the volume doesn't exist. So like everybody views their business as like a funnel like this, right? And then each person or each process or each step filters out something. And I'm like, I don't know any plastic surgeon that views their business as a funnel. Like, they don't like that shit. Like, hey, did you do 300 consults today? What's your consult to closing rate? Yeah. What's your closing? Like, no, man, like, come on. Like, no small business, much less a medium business, thinks that way. Maybe a large business, and maybe I'm wrong, and it's the internet. If I'm not wrong, it's not really the internet. But like the funnel philosophy, I think, allows for a lot of problems. And I'm migrating my philosophy to like a pipeline. Like if they fall into the pipeline, there's a 99% chance they're going to come through and buy, and it's a good fit. So all the filtering is done at the ad level, not like this. It's an ad and then, and I want everyone to know the rules of the game before they opt in, because these huge CRMs have like a massive cost. I don't mean like Active Campaign charging you $600 a month or Twilio charging you $800 a month. I mean, in your brain space, you're like, fuck, man, how am I going to accomplish my goals? Okay, I can work my pipeline. No, man, like that solution, you're not going to find happiness in working your pipeline. What you're going to find happiness in is running an ad where somebody's like, I like your stuff, I want to buy it. And if they don't like your stuff and they don't want to buy it, there's no level of setting or salespersoning that's going to conquer that at all whatsoever. It's not going to happen. People are a lot smarter than you think. And there's 4 or 5 companies that are agency to agency that keep trying to do that. I'm like, dude, I said no like 12 months ago, and I'm getting a phone call once a month as a check-in. I'm like, all you're doing is reinforcing why I'm saying no. So I think my philosophy has changed from work the pipeline, and the people that get paid to work the pipeline are appointment setters and salespeople, but also the lead generation or the Facebook thing. So let's just say you run the numbers and you're like, all right, our cost per acquiring client is $300, but we make 3,000 and you take out $1,000. So we pay 300 and make $2,000. Dump all the money ads. Incorrect. What you're doing is, when you spend way too much money on ads, you're allowing Facebook to optimize for the wrong thing. Like when I see a lead coming in on Facebook, I should genuinely believe it's a somewhat of a good fit client. Somewhat of a good fit. Like not perfect, but like 60, 70%, right? Yeah. They should be, for me, a dentist that wants more all-on fours and knows you charge $750. What you do is you hire a media buyer and you say, yo, we need cost per lead of blank. And you go, you got it, dude. And get an F ton of patients or bycatch or the wrong fit. And now you incur additional costs, not just from Facebook, but appointment setter and then salesperson, all that. So it's much better to run your shop. I don't want to use the term lean, but really a reflection of you as an individual. Like once you're in the funnel, it's me texting you from my phone saying, hey, it's Jeff. Did you sign up for this? All right, cool. Did you want to talk tomorrow? That's how businesses want to buy from businesses. Like I don't know any super high-end rhino plastic surgeon that's like, yo, thanks for setting me up with your CSM and appointment setter, Jeff. Like they don't want to They don't want to do that.
Mhm.
But when I call them, I go, yo, I think you signed up for the $750 month all on for rhinoplasty lead qualification follow program, right? And he goes, yes. I go, cool. I'll call you at 2:00. Great. And then it's me on the phone. We talk 15, 20 minutes, and there's no like surprise. There's no like, oh, let me drop some cool sales psychology on you. And it's just, nope, this is what we do. This is how we do. Yes or no. And then they end up buying. We've had a guy named, it's either Sean or Nick or something like that. He's English. And
Same Sean or Nick.
No, his name is Sean Kelly. Yeah. But he's English, right? He's English, super polite, right? Like, and I've told this to his face. He's super polite, like doesn't try to push people.
Yeah.
And his business is like blue collar construction workers that have like their phones are big and yellow with the otter bumper because they keep dropping them.
Otter box, yeah.
Right. And like, I'm like, dude, you got to be like aggressive with this shit. He's like, I can't. I'm like, I know, but the way you're going to do it is by saying, this is the price. Do you want it? Yes or no? That's it. And he closed 4 in 24 hours. And it's not a function of like him being a better salesperson. It's like, this is the price. Do you want it or not? And when you run those ads, everything works. And so the people that lose out are the appointment setters, the salespeople, the lead generation process. So like you don't waste a lot of money on YouTube or Facebook or AdWords or TikTok or anything like that. And I think what ends up winning is fulfillment and then the agency owner. So like the Jeff on the side of the equation.
What about, okay, let's talk about the agency owner. What type of individual, not the sales or setter, like what type of Jeff would fail with this type of model?
The type of Jeff that would fail is the guy that's like, yo, I got a sale, and then like blast it out to the world like they deserve validation type of thing. Because you're not getting that rush. Like you're not fighting any fish to like, there's no Moby Dick. It's just, hey man, I've got lemonade for 45 cents. Do you want it? Somebody comes up and buys lemonade. That's the excitement.
Yeah.
That was it. There's no like, holy shit, I conquered, I got it. So the sales Jeff or the validation Jeff of like, holy shit, I won, I'm good enough, let me show you everything. Like that doesn't get validated, and that doesn't feel happy with this model, which is, I didn't have to fight anybody for this sale, man. It doesn't feel like a win. Right. But the good news is that the fulfillment side of the agency owner, that other side of the brain that like wants to keep people, make them happy and everything work, that person loves his job. Like, hey, we got leads came in, cool, we did some live transfers, everything is fine, see you later, goodbye. And so that really optimizes for super high margin, super sticky. I'm not saying they're never going to leave you. What I'm saying is like when they try other agencies that are like, certain number of appointments guaranteed or ROAS guaranteed or ROI guaranteed, they go like, nah, man, fuck that. Like, I'll just stick with Jeff. So that's the side that wins. The side that loses is the sales side. But agencies are based upon fulfillment. So that ends up working.
I feel like when I first heard this model and when I, learned how you did it and everything like that, there's a part of me that was like, oh, this is super cool. I like this. But then there was still that like cringy agency owner side of me who was like, well, I'm not going to have like the higher retainer, like, oh, I could charge more, charge what you're worth. Right. And then there was a side of me where I was like, what? I can't go flex. So I have a setter and a sales. Like, there was a part of me where I was like, that's not that shiny, or it's kind of boring. Or there was just that aspect I had to almost get over, or, over time I've gotten past that. So I was like, screw that. Once I've gotten older, I realized I just want to be married, not have to worry about finances, get people results. So I'm not falling asleep worrying about a refund. And once I realized that, I'm like, cool, this makes sense. But I feel like that's also the agency owner is like, oh, and another thing too, is with your process, it does require some work on your end. Work, meaning you have to you're texting the person, you're taking the sales call, you are setting up the ads, which takes a few minutes. But I feel like there's still some agency owners who are like, what? I'm just going to outsource it. I need systems, SOPs, and they won't take 15 minutes of an ad campaign.
Correct. And that's because their identity is based upon, sales is winning. They saw that Wolf of Wall Street movie where the guy says, quote, last year I made $50 million, which I'm super pissed about because it's 2 million, then 2 million shy of 1 million a week or something like that. I'm like, damn, man, I want to live that life. But, also it's a big box of lies. It doesn't work the way you think, and everybody goes to jail. And if you really want to drastically and dramatically improve your life, expand the time frame that you operate in. And so the people that employ that line of thinking operate in very short time frames. Like I'm talking weeks or months. But the people that employ the longer term time frame think years, half decades, or decades. And it sucks in the beginning because like the average agency owner is like, a single 18-year-old male that desperately wants to move out of his house. That's like the standard YouTube, like
Yeah.
you fall into the like that funnel. That's the
Yeah, you do.
demographics, right?
Yeah.
It's just how it is. So the way the culture and the brain seeks validation, seeks
Mm.
tribe, seeks totem pole, seeks the type of stuff that lines up with selling,
Hmm.
right? I think once you turn like mid to late 20s, and this is the same transformation that Becker is going through,
Yeah.
where you realize, yeah, man, like sales are supposed to happen. That's no big deal. Like you have a signpost, people come and buy your stuff, but the expression of great business or great person is on the fulfillment side, not on the sales side. So if you have a deck and you're like, man, I'm gonna close this deal, man. It's got to fuck grab him, fucking get him. Like, yeah, like wrong line of thinking. Like that's 99% of people that burn out and drop out of agency, and then just rotate to either faceless YouTube channels or drop shipping anonymous or e-commerce flipping. Like they just keep moving to the next sales thing instead of building materiality and building timelessness and building bones that last.
Yeah.
So I think like going back to your first question was like who loses out? The salespeople lose out. But the
Yeah,
people who win are
yeah.
correct. But the people who win are the agency owners and the clients. And it just works out a lot better. Like you don't need media buyers, you don't need appointment setters, you don't need salespeople. And the 0 to 50K a month mark, like 0 to 500,000, maybe $1 million a year, you can do it as a person with like 2 or 3 VAs.
Yeah.
And it's better to build your business as a reflection of you, just like with arm's length, than a progression of yourself. Because like, yeah, everybody needs to level up, but it's fucking exhausting and everybody levels up differently, right? So you really should building your business as a reflection of you and how you think and how you want to take care of people. And for me, having a lower cost, just having my prices out there and people saying yes, knowing that I can do it all myself. And yeah, if I get hit by a bus, okay, fine. But I shot like 10 Loom videos and my VA can do that shit. So it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your brain calms down. Nobody cancels overnight. And your Stripe doesn't do this shit. You know what I mean? Like that just feels bad. So there you go.
Got it. Okay. Now, I feel like one of the downfalls I've made when starting my agencies and businesses was I tried to be like too similar to the Jeffs, to the Iman Gadzis, to the like I would, instead of like looking at like my goal, I'd be like, I'm just gonna like model them as closely as possible, and my life will look like that. And it's never worked. Like I'm realizing that even now. I've been doing this since I was 14. I'm 20 years old. I've tried it for all those years. It hasn't worked. My life looks nothing like those people. Yeah. It's been great. It's been awesome. Yeah. Looks nothing like it. So
correct.
What is your advice to that then?
Look, when you do that, usually you forget that they're divorced, had to move out, hate their life, don't talk to people, and all their friends are people that pay them money. Like it doesn't work the way you think, right? Like I know that like the slavery attitude towards like $1 million a month or bust, I believe again is very short-term thinking. And yeah, people evolve and change and stuff like that. Yeah. But like trying to copy/model, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't quite work the way you think. You really just have to build a business as a reflection of how you want to grow and change, and an extension of yourself. For example, for me, like I'm really not a fan of like 500-person events. Like I've been to them, I don't like them. Maybe I'll do one once, but for the most part, like I'm not excited about 500 people in an auditorium chanting and jumping up and down. Like I'd rather do 10 to 15 people at my office. Like that's how I am totally happy. Another example is like, I remember paying for a program, and then after like the 4th month, they're like, hey, it's $1,000 a month to stay on board. And I'm like, well, I fucking hate that. So I'm not going to do that to people. Right. Like,
I know what you're talking about. I know I left that same program, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Right. You don't feel good about it. You're like, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore. Thank you. Like as like, no offense to you, but also offense to you. Like, I don't like it. So I found that happiness and longevity and timelessness was just how I wanted to build my business and a reflection of it, and staying within my Jeffness or my Joshness or my Andrewness or whatever the ness happens to be. And yeah, that changes over time, but like nobody is like, yo, man, it's worth it because I divorced my wife and moved halfway around the world. Like nobody says that shit, right? So like you're the one that's going to deal with that downside, and the cars are never as good enough as you think. Like the condo is never good enough as you think. But if your philosophy is like, hey, man, like I just want to build a really great business that is useful, applicable, and my clients absolutely love me, you're going to be great no matter what because you're client focused. Yeah. Versus
that's kind of fulfillment too.
Correct. Like compare that, like the client focused business to the customer focused business versus the people that are like solar or bust or YouTube ads or bust, or like they get so submissive to the tool when they're really just in slavery towards. So like I get obsessive about my clients and my customers, and it's almost irrespective of how much money that I charge them.
Yeah.
So I've got like a Dr. E, a Dr. K, I've got a Dr. H, and a Dr. O, like those 4 or 5 people. And it's like, without regard to how much I charge them, some are 750s and some are 10Ks. Like those are like good people, man. Like you got my phone number, you call me whenever there's a problem. I'll log in your account, fix that shit right now. I've also got clients that charge $3,000 a month to them. Like if you get hit by a bus, I don't give a shit. Like it's that type of connection that I believe like matters, where you can be like, I've got like a network of 10, 50, 100 people that like deeply trust me. They'll take care of, even when stuff goes wrong, I'll take care of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't come with modeling or copying someone's stuff. That comes with getting obsessed with clients' problems and caring deeply about solving them, even when you can't. So there's been times when clients are calling me like, hey man, I don't think it's working. I'm like, yo man, me neither. Like this is not a good fit. I can't help you out. Nothing I'm working is happening, but I think I know 2 or 3 people who can, and I know their rates. It's comparable, but I think that makes sure you're taken care of. And they go, thanks, man. So we exited happily.
Yes.
Right. And I know the people I refer them to, maybe it'll work, maybe not, but that feels much better than, no, man, I'll have you know, you still got 2 months in your contract and we're not going to do any more work. And I was like, fuck me. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not going to work the way you think. And so I think what has happened is I tried the Dan Henry-ness, I tried the Sam Ovens-ness, I tried the Alex Becker-ness, who are all great people to follow.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was my Jeff-ness that I'm stuck with. So I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
That's cool. I really like that. And I think that's something that when I come back from the shadows in 5 to 10 years, definitely want to teach kids that were my age starting this, once I figure out what my thing is and, you know, go through that whole journey. Because yeah, I've been 6 years, I've been doing this, and just now I'm realizing like, yeah, it's not like there's more to it than just like the model or your mentor and what they're saying. And I remember I kind of like he was up here playing Top Golf with me, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm about to go on this dopamine detox. Like Iman Gadzhi is talking about it, and I'm gonna get locked in.
Monk Live, yeah.
Yeah, and I love Iman Gadzhi. He's also like, he's my first mentor. He's the first person I paid. Great, awesome. Yep. And then he was just like, why? He's like, that's stupid. He's like, you know, that like all the people I hang out with in Miami, all the gurus, they're boring. They don't like to have fun. They don't go on.
Talking about me. Talking about me.
Yeah, literally. He's like,
talking about me.
He's like, yeah, people make $1 million a month. They're doing dopamine detoxes. They have all these strict schedules. Like their dating lives are boring. They're like, everything's boring. He's like, they don't know how to have fun. He's like, don't do that. He's like, that's stupid. And I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of true. Like that, I don't find really happiness in that. And that's not going to inspire me to get on my laptop and do more work. And so that was kind of my like realization. It's like, I just have to find my own thing.
There's been many a moment where I'm like, fuck, man, I hate going to work. Even though it's my business, it's my work. And I'm like, man, fuck this shit. Like, this sucks. Like, everyone's complaining to me and it's not my fault and I got to deal with it and it sucks. I need an account manager. That's where my brain went, because that's what the other guys said. Like, just put account manager. No, that person just costs you money and time and effort. It really should be, all right, what the fuck do I have to change about me and what I'm doing? And all right, I'm gonna give them a call. I'll let them bitch, moan, and complain, and then I'll present a plan to solve it. And then you get put into a different category altogether, and then they're very happy with you. But you're 100% right. Like the YouTube hole, and I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I know what your YouTube looks like. Okay, it looks like mine. There's a lot of numbers everywhere. It's half of it's cryptocurrency. Okay, like it sucks. Okay, we got to understand that our brains are million-year-old devices that stopped evolving 10,000 years ago, and 99.99% of all of our genetics are born without electricity, without the internet, without the iPhone, without Facebook, without YouTube, without the reds and the blues that are like very alarming. And most of the time, we're not actually in control of our actions on the internet. Most of the time, we're deeply manipulated. And when I fall into that trap that you're mentioning, I go, man, is this really me?
Yeah.
Or is it fucking YouTube again? Yeah. And then most times it's the YouTube. So yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's and I know we're going like deep, and I want to talk about some other stuff too, but I feel like this is the foundation of it too, where it's like you honestly, as a business owner, as an agency owner, you'll probably come up with better ideas for your clients, for your business. What I've realized, like turning YouTube off, not watching any courses, and just driving or sitting in the shower, then watching a bunch of YouTube videos and going into groups and asking questions. Like I remember Dr. Connor Robertson, he was like, why are you watching courses? He's like, you're just, he's like, that's so stupid. He's like, you're listening to the same stuff being retaught. You're only going to do that one thing. And so I stopped. And since then,
Yep.
you come up with way better ideas. So
Yep.
that being said, I think, again, for people out there, it's like, yes, courses can give you a stepping stone, but you have to go into it knowing like, okay, let me come in here, get the framework, the foundation, maybe just take one thing from it, and then
Yep.
be like, how do I fit this into my world? Like when I watch your stuff, I have to remind myself, I'm not Jeff. I'm not going to have an agency like Jeff. I'm going to hate things about this that maybe Jeff doesn't hate.
Yep.
And I have to just take the things I like and the principles of it and then turn into my own thing. So that's how I hit on that.
I'll have you know that there's a lot of people that hate the way I run agency.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that kill, that dopamine. You don't get the Moby anymore. You get a boring business that pays your mortgage 10 times over. That's what you get. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that shit. Like they want to go to the gym and be validated and say, I'm on the board now. Like, look, I did 315 overhead press.
And be like, oh, look at that, 2,000 a day, 1,000 a day.
Right. Like, great. Yeah. And I don't think that it ever goes away. Like I still get the fuck yes. Like, look at that shit. But I think what happens is you allow other parts of your life to be more voluminous and more meaningful and more caring than what is effectively is the digit on the screen that you can fucking Photoshop. If you want to see your stripe say $1 million a day, you go fucking change that shit today. And you do it. And you're like, oh, it's $1 million. It doesn't fucking, you know what I mean? This is of course, assuming that you can pay your bills and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the lesson for everybody watching this is like, you should be obsessed with your clients, not your tools. Like you don't want to be a carpenter with a hammer. You want to be a carpenter with a client, because a carpenter with a client can always get a hammer, but the vice versa is not true. Like if you're a carpenter with a hammer, that doesn't mean you have a client. And there's 1.5 million ways to make a client very, very happy. Selling, copywriting, online advertising, operations, CRM. And what happens is you sit down with them and then you have this like whiteboard conversation with them.
Yep.
And you say, all right, based upon everything we talked about, do you need help with this or do you want me to do it for you? And they'll say, you just do it for me. You're like, great, I got to charge you blank. They say, okay. And we would sign $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 deals on that board with clients that were happier than, the $4.99 Growth Geeks package that they bought.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. No, I love that. Next segment I want to talk about here is let's talk about fulfillment, because we're sitting here being like, all right, make your clients happy, get them results. It's the best fulfillment in the world. But I'm like, yo, it's been a while since I've done local lead gen. I know how to run ads. I know how to get agency results. I've been in this whole internet crap world for so long where my mind's like that. So pretend I'm an agency owner starting over again, right? And we're going out here, we're launching a service, local lead gen or whatever kind of service, the way you teach and the way you do it. How can we sell with confidence knowing that we'll be able to help our clients? Or what do you do in that beginning stage where like, I know it comes with the mindset of like, you just have to figure it out and have the confidence that you're going to do whatever it takes to get them results and just sell off that. But where do you start from there then? And then maybe talk about niches too, because I know people get
I'm going to break your brain really, really fast. I'm going to say the line of thinking that you just employed. It's not that it's incorrect. It's just that it's not going to optimize for your success. I'm going to assume that you don't have the knowledge, skills, and abilities of 10, 15, 20 years of all the books to lean back on, right? Like I don't know how to video edit, even though I'm using Canva. Okay. My copywriting skills are near zero. I can just put some shit inside of an image on Keynote. And then I go, I made an ad today, right? Like that's what we're talking about. I will say that the easiest thing to do is to eat your own cooking. It feels very validating when you're on the phone with the client saying the ad that got you to me is the ad I'm going to run on your behalf. And they go, oh, that's cool. Versus having to say, hey, so here's the value stack and you want to blah, blah, blah. And they go like, who are you again? You're like, fuck. You're like, I'm not a dentist. I don't know, man. Like that ends up being pretty weird. But if you eat your own cooking and you just advertise online to get an online advertising client, all that goes away pretty quickly. Not completely, but most of it, like 80% of it goes away. And all they're doing is like, fuck, man, if he could get me, I wonder if what would happen if I put him in my employ. That's how they think. So if you just run a very basic ad, and there's two lines of thinking, one of them is niche agnostic, one of them is niche friendly. Let's go with niche agnostic. And so the first 2 years of my agency, I was like, I'm the Miami guy that runs Facebook ads. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I like that. So like, that's the philosophy. So I just ran ads to everyone within like 10, 15, 20 miles. Video ads of like, hey, what's going on? My name is Jeff, and here's 3 things you didn't know about Facebook ads. And you can go on my personal profile and see them like 4 years ago. I still run those ads today. People go, how did you gain so much weight? And I'm like, fuck, man, those ads are like 5 years old, but okay, right? So you can run an ad that is very basic, like here's 3 things you didn't know about blank. And at the end of it, you don't have to have a call to action. You can if you want, but you don't really. That person is like, I really like that. And then they'll find you. They'll click on your page, go to your website, call you, something like that. And that's the easiest and best way to go fishing is just run a generic online ad. It doesn't have to be like get leads or get pest control or blah, blah, blah. You're just saying, look, man, I'm doing this and I'm probably not the best, but I know a little bit more than you. So what do you say you pay me money?
Got it. So
that philosophy works really, really well. That's number one. That's niche agnostic. Everybody should see that shit. Like you'll be recognized on the street. You feel pretty good about it. You be a mini celebrity and people are going to trust you because of impressions. And you end up talking to like some guy that runs 14 physical therapy clinics, making $4 million a month, living on Venetian islands. And you pass by his house like once a week on your walk and he's in your office and you're like, oh, that's cool. Ain't going to happen from like an ad that is like, hey, can I add $30,000 a month to your business? Because he does that every third Thursday. You know what I mean? So number one is that like, A, you should be like eating your own cooking and just running an ad. It's $1 a day, $5 a day. You'll feel so much better. Like you won't have this like fraud feeling in your brain anymore. You're like, I shot an ad today. That was me. That was me. I did that. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. Right. It just works. If you want samples, you can go on my Instagram. You can see those 90-second like videos. By the way, the one that I shot earlier today was just me talking to my reflection, recording on QuickTime. Like I was just literally looking at myself. That's it. Okay. And we're going to run it and people are going to be like, wow. So that's not too hard. So that's the niche agnostic, right? And effectively what you're doing is like, I'm the local advertising guy, Google guy, AdWords guy, Facebook guy, pick your poison, it's all the same. The other one is like, I'm focusing on a industry. I want to remove the word niche because it's got a lot of weight to it. So we're just going to say industry. And then we're going to say the product in the industry. So let's just say plastic surgeons and specifically rhinoplasty. Cool. Not a lot of weight to it. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know everything. You can just run an ad to a list of plastic surgeons that say, hey, want more rhinoplasty patients? We'll run an ad like this for you. Plus, we'll call them and qualify them. And then live transfer them to your desk for this price. Okay. And now you're running that as an ad to everyone on that custom list. Don't play with targeting. It's always wrong. If they're on the list, they're a customer.
So just do custom. Correct.
Just do a custom. Don't look alike. I swear to God, if somebody looks alike, does an LLA and then message me saying, how come these are all wrong? But it's because it's a lookalike. Like, don't do that. So
how many people do you put on a custom list then? How many do you start with?
I don't think I've ever seen problems with less than 1,000, 2,000 people.
Oh,
but I also know that Facebook will be like, hey, you're going to get 0 leads. And you go, Facebook, you're a liar.
You go. Don't trust that.
It says 0. I'm looking at the ad set that got 10 today and it says 0. I'm like,
who are you going to trust?
Right. So just run the ad, spend 20, 30 bucks a day, run it for 3 or 4 days before you make any changes. Here's how do you know if your price is too much or too little. You're on the phone with somebody and they're like, man, you know what? Honestly, like I'd buy it, but it's just too much money. That's how you know your price is too low or too high. That's it. That's the only feedback you should be listening to.
Got it.
If you ran the ad for 100 days and nobody signed up, it's usually not because of the price. It's usually because of the product. So like rhinoplasty, right? Like that's the product. That's the product that you're selling. And it should be like, let's say you run that and nobody signs up in like 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. You spend $200. Well, the problem's with the rhinoplasty. Maybe nobody wants rhinoplasty. Maybe the plastic surgeons don't want more rhinoplasty. Maybe they want like breast implants. Maybe they want Brazilian butt lifts. Maybe they want different stuff. Right. And so that's where you got to play with it. The only time you should be lowering your prices if you're on the phone with somebody and they're like, nah, it's too expensive. Okay, I'll lower my price for the next time.
Got it. And that's something that what you said with the product. Sometimes people think the product is, or when you say that, it's like the service they're selling, like Facebook ads. But it's like you said, it's like the result almost you're delivering or what they're getting, right? Because I remember Jared Curry and their agency, they real estate AI or whatever, they work with realtors. And that's like a risk. That industry is like, so many people have been in that forever. I was like, what are you doing? But their whole thing was like listing appointments or something. Like they switched up. Usually people say like buy or seller leads, but their whole language is like guaranteed listing appointments. Correct. Taking off. Like it's killing it. They've taken over.
So they changed their product, right?
The product.
It's not in buyers, not selling. It's the other thing. So
Yeah.
that's where people will be like, oh man, my niche is too crowded. Oh
Yeah.
man, nobody's responding. These are too hard to sell. I'm like, dude, it's your product, man. Like
Yeah.
change your product. But they usually don't have like I mentioned, the 18 male category of like, I'm lost, somebody give me a home. Like
Yeah.
they don't have the testicular fortitude to
Yeah.
give me a home. Please say I'm good. Like, they don't have the testicular fortitude to say maybe I need to change what I'm doing.
Huh.
Instead, they will just bounce around blaming everybody along the way. And that's
Mhm.
just a function of people who enter industry. It's the same way with actors, like a very low barrier entry. Like,
Mhm.
no, man, what you want to do is like, all right, maybe it's the product. And you just Google the fuck out of it. And some
Mhm.
people, by the way, will have like 5 different ads that are running at the same time. And then they'll be able to know which one is like the winner. And then
Mhm.
they just go to market with that. We got a guy in Poland that was like, they don't want rhinoplasties. They want breast augmentations and Brazilian butt lifts. I was like, yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah.
So he ran rhinoplasty, Brazilian butt lifts, and breast augmentations. And you know what happened? Rhinoplasty fucking sucked. Nobody want that shit. But BBLs are all the rage. So that's what's working.
Huh.
Right. So there you go.
How would one, so like you said, you just, for that person that who's starting out, it's like, well, how do I know what they want?
That's where you got to do some Googling, dude. But it's
Yeah,
really
you
not
just
that
gotta
hard.
ask
Like,
questions. Yeah.
Get somebody on the phone, like, hey man, this is gonna sound really weird, but I'm a marketing student. What's the number one thing you want from marketing? Is it blank, blank, or blank? Thank you, goodbye. And just do that 20
for
times.
real, for real.
Right. So when I was starting dentistry, like I called 20 dentists. I even went to a conference, a bunch of dentists, and I said, what do you want for your marketing? Do you want teeth whitening, cavities, or something else? They're like, something else. What's this something else? We want implants. All right, cool. And I just kept doing that until everyone told me that they don't actually want implants anymore. They want all on 4s. Cool. And that's where they take off all your teeth and put all the implants on 4 big screws that go inside your mouth. Happens all the time. Like Morgan Freeman, look, just Google Morgan Freeman teeth. You can see before and after he got all in 4s, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that was it. Like now I didn't have to spend an existential crisis worth of time figuring out what people wanted. And as that market changes, it's okay, man. I know how to hunt and know how to farm, which I'm going to go do it. And so now like the devil on my shoulders, like, Jeff, what if you did mortgage leads? Like what would happen then? So now I'm talking to mortgage companies going like, hey, what do you want? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you want from your marketing? That was it. And then I told my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, who's that guy that you did the mortgage with 5 years ago? He's like, why? And I'm like, He's like, fuck. So he sent me a screenshot of the text message because he didn't know how to share the icon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I texted the guy. I was like, hey, it's going to sound weird, but you did my dad's mortgage 5 years ago. Can I ask you something, maybe 10, 15 minutes long? He said, okay. So we're talking later today. You know, I'm going to call him. I'm going to ask him like, yeah, man, this is about a mortgage, about marketing. Fuck. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just got 2 questions for you. With your marketing, what's the one thing that you actually want? Like, tell me. He's going to say, oh, I don't know. But usually what's going to happen is like ask the question 3 or 4 times in a row. Then they say, okay. And what he's going to say is he wants $1 million mortgages with 720 credit score. They're looking to buy within 90 days in the state of Florida. Cool. Now I have a customer. I just got to go farming and then we're good. And now I can run an ad saying like, hey, do you need a mortgage? Click here and then shove them through a quiz funnel. And then all the good ones go to him. And that's it.
Have you tried cold email for this type of?
I tried cold emailing. I was never happy with it. It works. I got yeses saying, yes, I'm interested. I got people that cold email with the price in there saying like, hey, it's going to sound weird, but I do blank, blank, and blank for X dollars per month. Are you interested? If so, reply us. They'll get yeses. Like it doesn't have to be a sneaky cold email. Like, here's the offer. I just hated all the tech setup and I never liked it and I never fell in love with it. And I didn't find it as a valuable skill set. I think specific for my journey, like cold emailing is not within my Jeffness.
Yeah.
And the results are very, very similar to just paid ads. And, you know, I think the allure with cold emailing is it's free.
Yeah.
And I go,
but honestly, it's not because you're paying for domains, they get flagged and the software.
Stop fucking free.
Find a list and you just run an ad and it's like,
yeah, it's not free. Yeah. But what's also interesting is you can cold emailing from your personal Gmail and you can do like 2 or 3 a day and it'll always go through. You don't have to pay anything. So yeah, cold emailing works, but it was never within my Jeffness. So I didn't do a lot of it.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Let me see. What's the next one? So with your students then, or like people that are doing this, what problems are they facing?
So
like,
go on.
That's pretty general. Just what problems are you seeing when they do this?
So there's stereotypically 3 buckets of problems: prospecting, selling, fulfillment. Like once you nail those 3, you're like Syed doing 2 million a year. and just wondering what you're supposed to do with all this money. Prospecting, selling, fulfillment. And there's so many like different like paths that people get fucking stuck on a path, or like, why doesn't this work, and spend too much time trying to figure it out? But every problem is prospecting, selling, fulfillment. If it's not within that, it's I'm not good enough. It's a me problem, my brain, my culture, like that type of stuff. This is 90% of like what actually is like why people aren't doing the thing. Like, I'm not good enough to go to the gym, or I have my own problems, and they never think of it like that, but it's like, it's too hard or something like that. Let's set aside that stuff of like brain trash that I'm not qualified to help you with, right? In terms of like agency and agency problems, prospecting, selling, fulfillment. So prospecting, selling, fulfillment. Prospecting, if you just do a stupid, simple ad on the internet, like, hey, this is what I do for a price point, and you're willing to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks a day, you're good. Like, you're going to find out if your prospecting works or not. I don't care if it's Facebook, YouTube, AdWords, TikTok, IG Reels, whatever your poison is, just start advertising. You'd be surprised at how many people are willing to give you a first try. And you just like, no, man, this is my first time doing it. I'm running these ads. That's why I'm only charging $4.97 a month. No guarantees. And they're like, okay, let's try it. And that conversation happens because only the people on the phone with you are the people that agree to $4.97. Like, nobody opts into an ad saying, who do you think you are charging $4.97? It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Just doesn't, like, who calls Tesla to complain about the price of the car? Like, they don't do that. They just don't opt in, right? So out of like, like advertising, got all those options, cold emailing, got all those options, in-person events, got all those options, personal profile. So like each of those 5 major buckets under prospecting has like 10, 20 different buckets. Just try one, spend the 20, 30 bucks. You'll hate it. Try it again. It's like the gym. Like, do you want to do weightlifting or do you want to do a marathon? Oh man, I don't know. I'm going to spend 6 months trying to figure it out. No, man, just fucking go to the gym. You'll find out if you don't like weightlifting in 3 months, and then you can always do, long distance running after. That's it. So just do those, just run an ad on the internet. And for me personally, I've had Facebook success, but that's because I grew up with it. I'm now experimenting with YouTube ads and AdWords. And I suck at YouTube and I suck at AdWords, but we're getting better every day. Cool. And also doing basic video view ads on TikTok just to get used to it. Cool. So that's prospecting. Cool. Then there's the selling part of all the different ways to sell. Here's a couple. You can do an 1.5 hour long demo on Zoom. You can do a 15-minute closing call. You can do an appointment setting call into a long-term closing call. You can do a VSL. You can do a landing page. You can do blank. You can do blah, blah, blah. There's a million different ways. And a lot of people will get stuck on, again, making the decision. Just pick one. For me, the easiest thing to do is like, hey, I think you scheduled time to talk about the $750 a month, like unlimited YouTube short design service. Is that right? All right, cool. So, the way we handle these calls is you talk for a bit. I'm going to talk for a bit, and then we'll know if we want to do business in less than 15 minutes. They go, okay. So they talk for a bit. I talk for a bit. And then what do you want to do from there? All right, we'll sign up. All right, cool. That's it. If somebody doesn't sign up, it's because of the product or the price, nothing else. Sometimes it's you, but it's 90% product or price. And then they go, oh my God, I'm not good at selling over the phone. Should I do a VSL? I go, dude, if you can't talk on the phone, I don't think I'm gonna be able to talk to a mic. They're like, well, should I hire a salesperson who will only take 20%? Oh my God. Well, what if I did? You see what's happening? Like they suck at the thing and they're not willing to go ahead and fix it. So they just cascade down into paralysis. So again, prospecting for me, Facebook, it's literally just a flyer or Canva ad. Fine. Pick any of the different ones. In the beginning, I did in-person events. Those are my jam. Selling, figure it out. Fulfillment. Again, 20 different ways to kill this cat. You can do fulfillment on AdWords, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You can do a specific type of YouTube. You can do YouTube Shorts. You can do AdWords. You can do a very specific type of AdWords. You can do a national. You can go local. And that's just one of the two, right? You've also got, you could send it to white label. You could bring it in-house. You could have your friend do it. You could do it yourself. You could hire a white source, blah, blah, blah. There's a million different ways. And what will happen is they'll say, oh my God, there's too many options, and they freak out. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. I should have not told them about all the other stuff. But that's what happens. And if you've ever gone to a restaurant and they have like 10,000 things on the menu, you know what happens? You go, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, you don't like the place. You're like, kind of devalues this product as well, too. The food, like they just throwing all stuff out there. How can they make all this?
And then let's say you find 3 things that you like. You're having an existential crisis on which 2 things you're not going to like and which one you should. And like, no matter how good that third one is, you're going, what if I got the other one? Yeah, like that's the way people live their life.
Yep.
So with the fulfillment, they think the same exact thing. And then, by the way, there's also a stupid simple Facebook ad that we run into our CRM where our team will qualify them in live transfer. So there's like 20 different ways to skin the cat. So the way you got to think about it is like, all right, how do I make this so simple that, I could do it? Not like a fifth grade, so simple that I could do it. And you just find ones that work for you. And my recommendation to start out, I found Facebook again for me is like the easiest thing to do because you can put a fucking flyer on the internet and pay $20 and people are going to see it. Yeah. And then lead form. So I don't have to build a landing page that goes straight to a Calendly, which is free. And then you call them from your phone. That's it. Cool. That's the selling process. Fulfillment is, hey man, most agencies are going to request access to your ad account. I think it's going to take you way too long. And they're like, yeah, all right, cool. We're going to use our own ad account. We're going to use our own page. We're going to run all the leads. We're going to charge your credit card on file. And then all the leads are going to go to our CRM. And then we're going to filter the people that want to talk to you.
Huh.
Cool. By the way, there's a different style of fulfillment, which could be the way it works is we're going to request access to your ad account, request access to your page. I'm going to pay for the ManyChat bot. And then people are going to opt in. We're going to ask them 10 to 15 questions. They click submit. Then you get the notification. You follow up. Both of those work really, really well. Yeah. So you just got to figure out which one you feel stupid, simple, comfortable with to stick with for like, I would say 6 months or so and reserve judgment for anything less than 21 days. Okay. And then you find out like, all of this kind of works. It's just I had to make it work. So for example, what'll happen is somebody they'll run an ad that says, what would your business look like if we had $50,000 a month of revenue? They'll run that ad, right? Run on Facebook, and they got an hour and a half long sales call with a risk reversal guarantee, which again is selling. And then they'll pass it off to client fulfillment for an onboarding call. And the client doesn't make it the onboarding call. They skip the first week, skip the second week. And now you have a conversation internally about, do we start retainer from the day they signed up or the day they're at?
Yeah. That's always good. Yeah, that's true. When you do it that way too, it gets, the retainer thing becomes a big issue.
Right. Versus like, okay, guys, like what can I remove so that this shit could work and I could do it? Because as the older I get, the more I realize that advanced calculus for business just really wasn't my jam. So if at any time I bring up the ads manager and I go to performance and clicks, I know I'm on the wrong path. Yeah. Like not because I should not be doing it, not because on the business or in the business or that mantra bullshit, but because what we're doing isn't creating a solution so obviously good to me, they got to go in and figure out the internals. Ideally, your fulfillment and your business is so obviously great and good that you don't even have to look inside the box. Like your car. Your car works so good you don't have to pop the hood, right? And when it doesn't work, what do? You pop the hood and go, I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was a long-winded answer, I think, but yeah.
That's true about the car. I just got a new car and I opened the hood, I'm like, this is nice. It's so shiny.
No, this is not gonna touch us at all. Yeah. That's awesome. But the problems for agencies fall into those three big buckets. And I don't have like a grading system or anything like that. But for iPhone stereotypically, running a flyer on Facebook with a product and price. B, having a 15-minute, hey man, we're going to know by the end of this call whether we want to do business or not. And C, keeping all fulfillment not in-house, but in person. Like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And now all of a sudden I get this done in like 30 minutes. Yeah.
I like that. How has this affected your normal life? Are you married?
I am now. Yeah.
You're not married. Do you like being married?
It's pretty cool, actually. Like, I don't feel like I have to go. It's like you got food in your fridge type of feeling. You're like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like
I want to get married. So
it's actually like very, very fulfilling.
Yeah.
To go, you're the same person as yesterday. Yeah. Like it actually feels pretty good coming from somebody that was a bit of a man whore. Like before I met my wife, like, let me tell you my life story again over dinner. You're like, that's exhausting. I don't want to deal with that shit. Yeah. Like, can we just skip the third? I want to skip to the third date where we macaroni cheese in sweatpants. What do you say? Like, it's like that type. That's how I was dating. But being married is very, very awesome. It's like the natural next step, I think, for me. And for a lot of people. And I could not have done it if I ran the old agency model.
Yeah. What are some, how's this affected like that? Like, or what are some changes you've seen just like in your everyday life? Because
man, do you know I have gray hairs? Yeah. It's because of the fucking agency. Because like this old way of working where like you did
And I'm not even
everything.
just asking that question to hype this up. Like, I mean, I know from my own experience, like trying to do this old model, and I'm just thinking of like the trauma I have now. And
dude, I gained like 30 pounds.
yeah,
Like look at my lives from like a year ago or 2 years ago. I was svelte. Like my face wasn't round. It was like this shit. And I looked, I was like, holy fuck, man. This like high salesperson, high appointment setter, high volume, high lead agency where now I have to do like my daily affirmations and my live journaling. Like this is the opposite of what Jeff wants. Like this doesn't really enable me to live the life that I genuinely feel is like kosher. And I was like, what am I willing to give up? And I was like, everything. Like I just give it all up today. And because I was willing to start from scratch, I think I built a business that works and probably works better. And I know the people that like make a lot more money than me. And they're like, I'm like, dude, you make 10 million a year and your margins are less than my take home. Like you have so much staff, you run so many ads, you have so much selling, you work 10, 12 hours a day bragging about it. And the end result is you make 125 an hour when I'm coming home cruising like 455 an hour. And, you know, like I get to work because I like this shit. Like I feel pretty happy about that. And now I have like a walking treadmill. But to answer your question, if I ran the old way of working, account manager, salesperson, appointment setter, fulfillment person, CSM, project manager, I would probably have gained another 30 or 40 pounds and exited the industry and closed my Facebook and said, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's not the term unsustainable. That is incorrect. The term is poisoning myself. Like I was like, even the money wasn't there. It was like, I could got it on stage and won my 2 comma club, but like all the people that did ended up calling me a week later saying, hey, I need help because I have no money. I'm like, you just won an award, dude. Like, what are you doing? They're like, yeah, but yeah. So I built a business based upon margin, not revenue. And I think my take home is comparable to like a business 4 or 5 times bigger, which I'm totally happy with. But I would not have been able to move forward with my life or even have a sustainable life if I had the old model, the old way of working.
And you live in Miami too, right?
Yeah, downtown.
You rent over $3,000 a month.
Our rent will soon be $12,000 a month.
What are you doing?
So we're buying a spot.
Yep.
And it's in the same building, and it's the unit's actually at a significant discount because the guy who bought it doesn't know how good it is. And we looked at the plans for all like the buildings around there. Like this is going to be like a $4 or $5 million spot in 3 or 4 or 5 years. Fine, let's do it. It's like massively expensive. Like $12,000 is huge. Like you go to Kansas City.
It, though. You're not renting it.
Correct. We're buying it. Yeah. Like were you at like Rob Quinn's? He was in Kansas. Like, so I was at his, like, not his house, but like the mastermind house in Kansas. And the rent was like $4,000. And you had like a village. Like you had a basement with a basketball court in it. And you had 4 kitchens. And I'm like, there's 22 bedrooms in here. Like, is that a playroom? What the shit? Right. So in Miami, I get 2 bedrooms for $12,000 a month. But the cool part.
Why stay there?
Say what?
Why would you stay there?
Oh, because it's fucking awesome. Like, wait till you see it. It's fucking awesome. Right. Yeah. Like we have 8 pools, a sauna, a steam room, valet parking, got a hot tub. Like it's fucking great. Okay. We got 2 gyms. It's amazing. So the point though is like, if I ran the old way of working and was just looking at my Stripe and deriving my confidence in business for my top line, I would be unable to emotionally afford a $12,000 a month mortgage because I'm focusing on margin. I can, it's a little bit of a stretch to be honest. Like I'm going from 4,000 a month to 12,000. It's a big fucking jump. Right. But I'm not like ripping my hairs out saying I'm bankrupt and everything is ruined. And I'm like, all right, I could swing it. I could do it. Like it ends up being like a slight change instead of like a life change. Right. But I could not be doing that because of like that social construct of like, you do $1 million a year or $1 million a month. Like you can afford, and you're like, fuck, I'm lying about my whole life. Like that's how most people think.
How much of your income comes from your education company?
It's about a 50-50 split. That's a very good question. So we did the agency BTS. Where we called it the Hot Wings special. Like that was the post and all that. There was like 600, 700 people that opted in, like 2-stepped. It was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Right. So amazing.
To buy it.
Correct. Like 2-step, not actually buy it, but like they 2-stepped. Here's the link, all that stuff. Right. Of that, 88 people opted in and made a purchasing decision. So they bought stuff. So somebody do 88 times 249 or 297, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's all margin. There you go, right? That was just from like that first product. That's all margin. And it's me 2 hours.
That's great. I bought it. I had to buy it as an upsell, but I still got it.
Right. It's fucking great. Like most people can launch their agency in this way of working just from that, assuming they don't have like the mental feeling that I mentioned earlier. So that was cool. And then there was a $500 pay Jeff for an hour of his time and he'll audit your client getting customer getting ads. 5 people bought that. And then there was the 997 sprint. And here's what's funny. The sprint was 1 call a week every week for 6 weeks to provide the accountability and support you want to implement this in your business. Check the fucking box or not. We had like, I think it was like 8 people buy it out of 12. It's like, all right, cool. Well, I still want 12 people because the show up rate's gonna be half, and it's not gonna be me and Gina Poole alone. So we're gonna get some other people, right? I'm gonna get 12. So I made the Google Doc, and it said 4 spots left, and everybody thought I was lying. Okay, everybody thought I was lying, and so we got to sell 3, 2, 1, and then somebody else bought 0, and there's still like 40 people looking on the doc, and I was like, oh, that's what you get. And then I went in and I deleted the payment link. Immediately a payment came in. I was like, he got it like last second.
Yeah,
right?
I will let you slide.
Right. And then turns out there was like a different, like on the original landing page that I thought I deleted the link to, but not the original landing page. Right. So if you went back to your bookmarks, you had that shit saved, you could buy it right there. And a fellow named Aaron Medina did. I'm like, Aaron, there's no more spots. He's like, you're not going to say no. I'm like, I'm not going to say no, but don't do it again. He's like, okay. And then 4 other people did it. I'm like, this mother. So we had like 16 people out of the 12. Okay. I was like, I was honored, but cool. So if you add up all those numbers, like that 297 ends up becoming like $42,000. Yep. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. And that's all margin.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then there's the done for you agency side. We've got a bunch of 750s. We've got,
what changes between when you do 750 and 5K?
Great question. So there's a little bit more locations, but the deeper answer is Jeff is going to care a little bit more. Like if my 750 client is having problems, I'm looking at the message, go, I'll deal with the shit later. All right. If the 5K client calls me, it's like, yo, I'm calling you back right now. I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm calling you back right now. If the 10K client calls, it's because something broke and his business is on fire. And like Jeff is like got 6 broken legs because I was going to call him before this actually became a problem, but somebody chopped off my hand. Like the 10K client, I call him. Now, what's interesting is most people think that you need to do other stuff. The answer is half yes. The answer is half no. So for the 750s, we're only doing one thing, which is like run the very simple ad. We'll change it once a week. That's it. No big deal. 24-hour response time. Cool. Fine. Perfect. For the 5K client, he originally came with a 1500 and we have the pitch deck saved, and I sold it the same way I mentioned on my post the other day, which is like, look, just talk to people, repeat their problems, present a plan, and say, did you want to do this or did you want to pay me to do it? So he said, I want to pay you to do this. I said, I'm going to charge you $1,500, not including ad spend, and we'll handle all this. And you'll just get people requesting an appointment, hitting our calendar, and your team does follow up. He goes, okay. I was like, all right, Mr. Johnson, look, before you complain, I'm going to tell you the biggest complaint people have about this way of working is they call and people don't pick up. All right. Stereotypically, what we've seen is like a 30 to 50% pickup rate. Your team should know this. If for whatever reason this is not acceptable to you, my team will do it for you for additional fee. It's part of their CMO plan. Chief Marketing Officer outsourced. Goes, okay, cool. 3 months later, I have this 6 weeks later, I had this like Last Supper meeting where like everybody's on one side of the table with me and a laptop. I'm like, what is this going on here? Like, what are you guys doing? Jeff, we're sitting down here to let you know that the lead generation is not working. You know, like these are very low quality appointments. We expected more. And I'm like, hey, thank fucking God they gave me a Zoom heads up because I just finished doing a sneaky survey. And I said, okay, so which ones did you call? He's like, we called 10. I go, okay, but what about the remaining 900? Right. And I was like, all the way down. So like I marked the 10 that they called it and like the 900 were like missing. And I was like, that's A. And B, I'm getting the responses back from my sneaky survey. So I screen shared and opened up my GHL and you see a whole bunch of people saying I didn't get a call back. Ding, 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 all the way down. And I was like, look, A, I don't appreciate the sandbagging. B, this feels like a Last Supper. This is how I'm talking to me. This feels like a Last Supper moment. And C, if this was a problem, you should have known I can solve this in exchange for money. So what do you want to do? And they're like, oh, we'll call you back later. And I think most people don't like take that approach in meetings. They're like only receiving. And I was like, I like, if you read the book, Getting Ahead of the Curve about Harvard Business School, the whole thing is like, it's a distribution curve. And the whole thing is like, get ahead of the curve. That's not what the book is about, but that's what the cover is about, get ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
So I call him up. I was like, look, I know you're working with like blah, 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 but this is just what I'm seeing. And if you want, I can solve all this problem for you. When do you want to get started? He's like, ASAP. I was like, cool. Here's our paperwork. I'll charge your card and file. Let's get started. So now my team is doing the callbacks and scheduling for their in-persons. They still have a 50% show rate. Fucking great, dude. Schedule 2 people. And that's the 5K client. That's it. We have a 10K client coming up, probably like the end of this year. We're going to do 8 of their locations, charge $750 a month per location or whatever the number turns out to be. And we're going to do fulfillment with AdWords for their $15,000, $20,000 offer. So the ad will say like, hey, you want this? It's 20 grand, opt in. That's it. Schedule an appointment. My team will call and then book an appointment. That's it. And I think a lot of people think that you got to do a lot different, like add complexity. And that's actually 100% incorrect. You have to have more effective simplicity. We're like, no, we're just doing less things better. And everybody goes, that can't be right. I'm like, it is. Like, just do less things better, man. Like, that's all you have to do. And you'll be much more successful. So to answer your question is like, yeah, you're doing more work, but that's not the entire equation. So there's other stuff too.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. What was another question? Because I wanted to wrap this up because you have other stuff to do. So do I. I'm so busy. I just,
all these every day is
it's
20. There's only so much time.
It's only so much time. But yeah, and for everyone who's wondering about like the masterclass that he talked about that I purchased and I joined unaffiliated with in any way, I linked it below. If you guys want to join me in that,
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it. I was kind of like, I was sitting there, I was like, I could figure this out myself. I could funnel hack him. I could just. I was like, you know what? There's gonna be one thing in there that I will not be able to figure out. And then I bought it, and there was like 30 things, and there's so I was like sick.
So what's funny is like when I was doing that live, people would ask questions, and I'll go like, "That's not a good question for me to answer in the live. We're gonna go on the next question." And everybody was like, "Thank God, thank God you told the people it's a bad question." And I would cut people off when they would yammer too much, like, "Nah, can't do that. Sorry, dude." And everybody fucking loved it. They also liked that I talked way too fast. Like they preferred that. So like that was a great example of like customer issues. They're like, cut off stupid people and talk faster. I was like, you got it. So that's it.
Cool. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping on. And guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or join Jeff's Facebook group. You're probably in it if you follow me. It's awesome. Any final words at all before you jump off and go make a bunch of money?
So I would tell you that the biggest reason people don't make progress is this like weird self-belief thing. I would really recommend that you change the stories that you tell yourself. For example, like I got fired 3 times from the only real job I ever had. Like that could definitely be a Debbie Downer. But the way I changed it was like, I got fired 3 times in 9 months for the only real job I ever had. And now my job is to take big business secrets and bring them to small businesses. All of a sudden, it's a very different path, right? Same exact scenario, but a very different story. And the book Psycho Cybernetics, I believe, will help people change the story that they tell themselves. That's number 1. Number 2 is that you really only need one. As weird as that sounds, like you just need one girl to say, I'll go on a date with you. And then you ask every girl out there. You just need one, like, you ever play golf where you just hit it right once and you're fucking addicted for.
Oh yeah. Literally the other day, I was like, nice little chip shot. I was like, I love golf.
You're like, yes, right. That's all you need is you really just need one. So like when you're talking to your clients, you're going to get that rejection of like, no. What you need is just one person to say, all right, I'm willing to give it a try. And then that becomes the story. And then you do 5 or 6, 10, and then that becomes a story. And it ends up becoming this like really weird tree where nobody really pays attention to the branches that didn't work. They're only paying attention to branches that did work. And if I talked about failures, that would be like, a 5-day seminar in a row. But I think the thing is that A, you got to change the story that you're telling yourself, and B, you really just need one client to say yes. And then you're like, holy shit, it worked. And then you're good.
Love that. Love that. Well, man, appreciate it. This is even helpful for me as I go after the agency world in a new way, because all the pain points that you talked about with the old way, like this whole call I've just been thinking about. I'm just like, gosh, I'm not going back to that. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to just not.
Most people don't need new information. They just need to be reminded of what works.
Yeah, the horrible life. Oh gosh.
All right.
I
All right,
think
look. All right, here before we go. All
yeah.
right, look. So if I ever do a 500-person event, I'm going to
Yeah.
be on stage. I'm going to say, everybody raise your hand if you could stand to lose 5 to 10 pounds. And everybody's going to raise their fucking hand, right? Like, Josh, do it with me. Raise your fucking hand, right? Yeah, I can. Okay. All right, everybody put your hand down. And I'm going to say, how many people have been to the gym and lost weight? Why the fuck did you stop? You see what I mean? Like, it's not about learning something new. It's about being reminded to go back again and again. So for you, just go back to your class, be like, hey, is there anything else I can do for you?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got this different thing. Hey, here's a Loom video with a really interesting idea.
Uh,
Did you want to do it or implement it in, or have us implement it into your business? And as you build out a list of clients and customers, whether it's done for you, done with you, do it yourself, whatever it is, like the advantage is just like having a Jeff-ness business or a Josh-ness business where like you're just reflecting to them the message that you want. And I'm always surprised at how many people are like, it's not good vibes, but it's just like a good business sense.
yeah.
And it ends up working very, very well.
Sweet. Love that. Well, I'm going to do that. I'll keep you updated as I go into this journey and test things out in my own Josh-ness way, which is awesome. And I really appreciate it. And thank you for taking this time to drop all this valued information. And we'll definitely talk soon, man.
See you later, buddy.
All right. Peace.
Bye.